I feel like there's always one more video I could do about Mortal Kombat Gold or Mortal Kombat 4. I really like this game in the series, and unfortunately it's quite a bit overlooked and has been forgotten about throughout the years. But for me, it's really one of the great titles from the Mortal Kombat franchise. And if I look back at the entire series, so now that we have 10 main entries in the series, it's up there with the very best for me. If I had to rank the Mortal Kombat games in the total franchise, it would be very much close to the top. My list would be something around definitely Mortal Kombat 2 being on the first spot, MK1 coming in a second, MK3, not Ultimate but the original MK3 as the third one, and the fourth place would go to Mortal Kombat Gold / Mortal Kombat 4. And for me, it really was the last game in the entire franchise that felt like a true arcade-styled fighting game, true arcade Mortal Kombat as it was in the beginning. Now there have been some great games coming after it as well, but after Mortal Kombat 4, I think the series took quite a bit of a detour or change in a different direction, at least as far as not just the presentation wise, but also content story wise, and also with regards to how the actual gameplay felt like. MK Gold really felt like just a sped up Mortal Kombat 3. And I really like the graphics of the game, regardless of what people say or how they regard it when it was first released. And now I just want to focus on Mortal Kombat Gold instead of Mortal Kombat 4 in this video. So if you don't know what Mortal Kombat Gold is, it's essentially an updated version of the home port of Mortal Kombat 4. It's not a real update to the arcade version, because that's kind of different. Unfortunately, we don't have like an arcade quality home version of Mortal Kombat 4 yet. It's in the works in terms of MAME, but it's going to be, I think, still a couple of more years until it becomes fully playable in all its glory. Mortal Kombat Gold was an exclusive home port of Mortal Kombat 4 released for the Dreamcast back in 1999, if I remember correctly, and it was the only system that it was launched on, and it was one of the opening titles of the Dreamcast. Unfortunately, that was also one of the issues with Mortal Kombat Gold, because by that time the graphics on the home port was fairly outdated or inferior compared to other titles released on the Dreamcast, like Soul Calibur or Dead or Alive 2. So that definitely didn't really have it, but looking back at it after so many years, it doesn't really matter, I think, that much. For me personally, I really like the graphics of the Dreamcast version, and it just felt right, and it was the last game in the series that John Tobias worked on, and after this he eventually abandoned the Mortal Kombat franchise and went on to separate routes, and from there the rest of the team picked it up. I think that's a real shame. Ed Boon might have been the guy who programmed the whole thing in the beginning, but the whole idea that sparked the whole franchise and game, that came from John Tobias and his vision. So he did add in quite a lot in terms of input and not just gameplay, but the story elements, characters, and the whole atmosphere of Mortal Kombat. I think that's makes it so special. It kind of like takes away some of the most casual elements of fighting movies, and then mixes the best portion of them together, coupled with some mystery and Asian elements, and there you go. But it did work out. So I think his absence from the franchise after Mortal Kombat 4 is a great loss. Anyway, getting back to the Dreamcast version of Mortal Kombat 4. So, well, what can I say? Nowadays I do play quite a lot Mortal Kombat and other games as well, in my free time, if I have any. I haven't really been making any sort of commentary videos over the last year or so, just because I've been pretty busy with parenting. My son just turned a year old, and my daughter is almost 4 years old now, so I'm quite busy with the kids, and whatever free time I have for my own, and that I can spend on gaming, I spend it on gaming and not recording or making any videos. I plan to get back to this stuff later on as well. Today I do have a bit of a free time in my hand, and I'm able to do this kind of commentary video as well. Anyway, coming back to topic. So the Dreamcast version of MK Gold. Why do I think it's so great? Well, it does feature a pretty good cast of Mortal Kombat characters. I think most of the fan favorites are included here. MK Gold is an upgrade to MK4 in terms of adding in new fighters and new backgrounds, but actually the new fighters that it added, apart from Sector and Cyrex, I don't think that they were that great. Baraka, Kitana and Milena, Kung Lao could have been done better, I should say, but it's good to have done in this port. And with regards to the new arenas that they added, they just look beautiful, and all of them are kind of like going back a bit to the older settings. Like you have a 3D version of the Soul Tombs, you got a 3D church, and so on and so forth. So it's really great. Why I really like playing it that much is that it's pretty easy to pick up and play. Like the earlier Mortal Kombat, it has the same method of the fighters essentially sharing the same basic move, no matter which one you pick, which at the end of the day means that it's pretty easy to play with new characters, different characters. We have to learn essentially what their specials are, and how to use them and how to make advantages of them. But you don't really have to bother in terms of like combos, because the combos can be used the same way for every sort of character. But then of course you can mix it up with the special move specific to that particular character, which in the end makes it unique. I think it has been a good continuation of Mortal Kombat 3 in terms of still having the run button and the run functionality. It's very fast paced, and the action is very fluid, and the most appropriate damaging is I think scaled correctly. What I mean by that is that this has been an arcade game, so the original, when it was originally released, I mean the Mortal Kombat 4 version, the arcade version, the intent was to get money, get coins out of it, and you don't want to have people standing around the machine with one coin for half an hour or so. Now you can do that with the home versions, because it's just for playing. The amount of damage that the characters take in this version is pretty similar to what we had in the previous iterations of Mortal Kombat in the arcade version. Although uppercuts seem to do a bit less damage, and there's actually once you do the combos or uppercuts, the damage that you inflict upon your enemy tends to diminish and get lower and lower with each hit. So that's a kind of a good check or control to, you know, keep in the balance of the game. But as I said, it's very easy to play and learn. Each character has like 2 or 3 special moves that you can, you know, really easily master, and it's the controls are very easy, very much like they used to be in the original Mortal Kombat. And graphic wise, back then when this was released, a lot of people, you know, complained it just because they saw, you know, Soul Calibur and all the other games, but actually I don't think that it looks that bad. I really like the new style of the game as it is. I think the color palette that's being used is just absolutely gorgeous, and it really comes to shine through the hardware of the Dreamcast. It really does look, you know, great. If you just look at, you know, some of the stages that have been, you know, put together from today's standard, they might be like, you know, less quality and less detail, but they really do feel like the old Mortal Kombat arenas that we loved back in the classic arcade game. So I just really love the whole setting that the game has, and I do think that the arenas look great, especially like the Elder Gods stage, the new forest, the prison stage, and the tomb stage, but I could name all the other stages as well because they look great. And as in the previous versions, you know, what really mattered with the stages is, you know, what the music was, and thankfully for this version as well, the composer was Dan Forden. So we get a brand new score for MK4, MK Gold, which does create a very good atmosphere to the whole game, and it's one of the best soundtracks, I believe, that, you know, he has done. With regards to the new stages that have been added since MK4, I mean the Church, Armory, Soul Chamber, and then the Netherrealm stage, the soundtrack was reused from Mortal Kombat 3, essentially. So, as I said, I do play it quite a lot. I play it on the actual Dreamcast. I'm quite a Dreamcast fan by this time, and on this channel going forward you can look for a lot more Dreamcast related videos and gameplays, and not just through emulator. I'm currently heading towards setting up my Dreamcast and recorder in a way that I can record straight through the original hardware and don't have to use an emulator for this version. So this is going to be much more retro feeling and authentic, so look forward to that. But anyway, again, kind of lost in my trails of thoughts, but essentially what I wanted to put out there is that MK Gold is a really great Mortal Kombat to have and play. Fortunately, there hasn't been any proper release since the 7th console generation, and they should really make it, you know, available through, I don't know, PlayStation Live or Xbox Live, and to the PC as well. I don't know if Netherrealm is, you know, ever going to do it, but hopefully they will be revisiting it, because this would be great too, you know, playing it online. Unfortunately, all I can do is, you know, play against the computer. That's a lot of fun as well, but playing against human opponents was the real deal, and this would be really great to play online against other players. The other thing I really liked about the Dreamcast version is, like I said, the whole atmosphere of the game. Originally there was a comic book made by Tobias for MK4 that essentially outlined what the story was, and it was kind of like, similar to I mean, in a way similarly done to MK2 and MK1, where you could have like a separate comic book accompanying the game, and it really does add a lot to the atmosphere. The other new thing was the addition of full motion videos. So instead of ending pictures, you finally get to see your heroes in movement on videos, and back in those days when I first saw it kind of looked okay. Now if you look on these videos, it's well, they haven't dated too well, I should say. Animation is very stiff, and you can even still see the joints of the elbows and the legs and the knees of the various figures. But on the other hand, it still looks cool. And all the endings are kind of cheesy, but it felt okay and good with this type of 3D Mortal Kombat. So all in all, I think it's a really great game. Love most of the characters that are in there. There are some lame-ass characters that have been added, like Jarek, Kai, Tanya. Don't really like them much, or Fujin. They are great to play against as opponents, and I just don't like picking them. The Scorpion that we get in this version, I think, is the best of all of the Mortal Kombats out there. And my other favorite character that I pick quite a lot is Sector, which is just a killer machine in this one, and the cyborg ninjas do really look nice in this one, I should say, along with the actual ninjas. So Sub-Zero, Scorpion as well look great and are great fun to play. So with that, I just wanted to toast this out. Didn't mean it as a review or anything, just as I said, I really like playing this game, and I wish there would be like an updated version available for one of the new consoles out there today, to be able to play it online. But who knows, maybe it will happen someday. Anyway, that's about it with regards to this video, and actually I'm gonna be following up with a video just to show you guys how you can play Mortal Kombat Gold almost flawlessly nowadays on a PC, and get it pretty fast and easily. So stay tuned.